President Trump says he wants to drill, baby, drill. I've never heard him say, I want to pollute, baby, pollute. I think economic activity is tied to getting useful products out of the ground.
Fraud, that's a term a Sinaloa State representative used to describe the expansion of carbon capture sequestration projects here in Louisiana. And while the projects could potentially spur economic development, some lawmakers believe it's simply not worth the trouble. Here's Robert LaPearl with KALB's Investigates latest report, digging into Carbon Nation.
Why is it fraud? Why do you believe it's fraud?
They are capturing carbon, and carbon is eaten by trees, and trees produce oxygen for us. It is not necessary.
Louisiana State Representative Charles Chuck Owen believes the expansion of carbon capture sequestration projects into central Louisiana is, in his words, ridiculous and poses only risk to the region's citizens. And he says he's not alone in his beliefs.
A lot of times the messages I get or the phone calls that I get, they talk about the same thing. This is going to make us sick. This may poison the aquifer.
Representing portions of both Vernon and Beauregard parishes, the former military officer turned state lawmaker claims the projects are nothing short of theft on his constituents' tax dollars.
Oil people have told me that. They have told me straight up. They wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for tax credits. This is your tax money being given to the oil and gas companies to create pollution.
And that pollution he's referring to, it's not as simple as just dumping litter on the ground. Instead, it is the injection of compressed CO2 beneath our feet rather than in our atmosphere. And if it combines with water, could create something known as carbonic acid.
When you're putting CO2 down there, if it interacts with water, which it will, it's going to make carbonic acid. That likes to eat steel, it likes to eat cement. If you've got cement and old well casings that aren't designed to handle that, that's going to be a problem.
And this is something Owen says is robbery.
We have one of the best aquifers in the state under our feet in Vernon. And there is deep concern, no matter how far down this hole goes, because they're saying it's going to go down 7,000 feet, way below the water table. My people don't care, and quite frankly, I don't care, because I don't want that thing running through our water table.
While these kinds of projects are a dangerous beast on their own, Owen says there's a drawback even greater than just environmental contamination.
I think it is a terrible encroachment on personal property rights. I don't know one person who is a landowner who is for this. I've maybe met one or two citizens who think it's a good idea.
That encroachment he's talking about is eminent domain. It's a power usually reserved for the government, but under Louisiana law, that power is also given to certain industries like oil and gas, with CCS being the latest to be granted that power.
Let's say you own a piece of land here in Louisiana, and the government decides that it needs a piece of this land. Usually, they'll try to bargain with you for it. But if your answer is still no, the government can take it anyways, so long as they justify it, as in being for the general good of the public, and pay you the fair market value for it.
And while CCS companies can exercise this power, the state legislature has already attempted to reel in the industry's influence.
The most important bill we passed last year on this topic was eminent domain cannot be used to put a well in the ground, to put a CCS well on your property. So that kept coming up. You can't do that.
But eminent domain can be used for the construction of pipelines that would transport compressed carbon. Inside that context, Owen says he would
like to see that law changed. The government has to course correct itself on occasion. Sometimes we go down a path and we have to change things.
But the Sinaloa representative believes it's simply not the time to amend eminent domain laws. Instead, he's got a different plan.
The ability to opt out of it. I mean, we let parishes opt out of gambling. We let parishes opt out of selling liquor.
He's introducing a law in the 2025 legislative session that would allow parishes to simply say no to the projects, putting
the local governing authority first. What I have seen, and I've had legislators that have told me straight up, said, if your parishes don't want the carbon, we'll take it.
And he's confident that when he returns home from Baton Rouge, he'll have good news for his constituents.
Nearly all the legislators that I know believe in local control. I don't have any reason to believe I can't convince at least 53 House members to support this. I look at this like we're on a boat and we're trying to go ashore at Normandy. We've got to get a beachhead at Normandy to establish the fact of an opt-out.
So you're looking to do it step by step. This is just step one of that process.
It is to me. It is to me.
With KALB Investigates, I'm Robert LaPearl.